Bonjour, dear friends. I'm JCB. I'm so excited to welcome you on JCB World. This is so exciting. My first time on Fireside. This is going to be an amazing experience because we're here in the heart of Napa Valley. You're going to discover my world, my history, and obviously from my childhood, when I started to make wine, I was 5 years old. I was actually tasting wine at the age of 10. I was born in France, in the heart of Burgundy, where the finest Grand Cru, Premier Cru of Pinot Noir and Chardonnay are made. My parents started the winery in the living room. It was a fabulous experience because both my sister and I got to do everything in the winery, from pressing grapes to tasting wines to bottling wine. It was one of the most amazing childhood, including tendering the vineyards and working with Mother Nature. This was so much of an experience that I was dreaming to do it on a bigger scale. And this is what we do here at Raymond Vineyards. As I lived in France, I was always extremely attracted and seduced by the United States, America, and California. So as I came here when I was 11 with my grandparents, I fell in love with this amazing nation. And I got to taste wine at Buena Vista Winery. As I touched the facade of the historical walls of that amazing winery built in 1857, I felt that deep correlation with my background, my history, and of course my heritage of Burgundy. I said, one day, I want to be the one continuing the dreams of the Count of Buena Vista. Can you believe that fortunately, 30 years later, I was able to buy this winery and continue this dream and come here. As I came here in 2007, 2008, I discovered the wonderful, fabulous Raymond family from Raymond Vineyards. We're here in St. Helena, in Rutherford, in the heart of the finest vineyards in the world. Full stop. Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, Cabernet Franc, Chardonnay, Sauvignon Blanc. All those best wines are made in that 47,000 acres enclave between my Camas and Vacas Mountain. We are in the cleavage of the valley. We're on the valley floor, and this is where this amazing cellar, that incredible winery, was built by the Raymond family. I was able to purchase it in 2009 and continue their dream and build an organic and biodynamic estate. All the wines are made with no pesticides, no herbicides, natural yeast and fermentation, and suddenly, from the transformation of that great liquid, they become wine. And you'll get to discover that with us on our JCB World on Fireside, because we're going to tell you everything about the vineyards. We're going to tell you everything about what we do during the 11 months before we harvest. We'll get that into the winery, we'll show you how, and then we'll show you how we taste wines and what we can expect from a bottle of wine from Napa Valley and our world at large. Sonoma, Central Coast, Monterey, Burgundy, Beaujolais, Rhone, sparkling wine, champagne, and all of the above. This is why it's so exciting to be in that world of wine, because this is a very special place. You get to take the grapes, transform them, and have them evolve into that beautiful liquid that is wine. There's a whole culture. It's one of the oldest civilization of any cultural transformation ever on the planet. This is what winemaking is about. So as we hear, can you imagine? We are where we make wine. This is actually the crystal cellar. Why crystal? Because this beautiful chandelier is made from sand, water, and fire. All the elements of what Mother Nature has to offer. We're here in the cellar, and we wanted to create this amazing living room where we make wine. We're now in September. This is when the grapes have been pressed and the liquid is in those tanks. We wanted to create theater and bring our guests, as you can see, some of them are here enjoying wines during harvest, and we wanted to really bring wine at the epicenter, not just with the barrels, but with the tanks as well in stainless steel. And this is how we make some great Sauvignon Blanc and Chardonnay. In fact, you can see all the way on top, welcoming you, my mother and sister. I love to have fun. And I think this is very important. As much great wines you can make, you want to have fun, you want to have a good time, and you want to discover another world. Look at this beautiful lady upside down. I often drive her totally crazy. Why do I drive her crazy? Because we talk wine, we talk emotion, we talk senses. And she's a fabulous young lady. In fact, you're going to get to meet her shortly. Her name is Stephanie Putnam. Down the hall in the cellar, you'll be able as well to discover Kathy George, her assistant. She's as well on a trapeze upside down because they get wild, they get feline, they get always adapting to a new world. This is why I love this crystal cellar. You may wonder, oh, I can see different lights. We want to change your perception of wine. We want your sensory and your senses to actually speak to you and see the unseen and discover the non-obvious. In addition to that, you can see the beautiful mirrors everywhere. We want you to look at yourself. Look at this mirror here, one of the coolest mirrors of all time, the largest mirror in America made by Baccarat. This is all crystal. And as I look at myself and I taste wine, I see two sides of myself. My own self and the way I taste and I react to wine. This is why when you get up in the morning, you look at yourself and you say, is that really me? Or when you put your makeup, oh, this is me. Same with wine. Your facial expression tells you how the wine is. And this is really the very fun part about wine. Wine is all about you. Wine is all about your impression of what you're tasting. It's not me telling you what to taste. I can guide you into this process. Incidentally, we have taken Stephanie Putnam outside of her comfort zone where she's normally on the crush pad. She's welcoming the grapes that have been harvested, sorting them and letting them ferment. Now, let's go and meet her and she'll tell us all about the wine. And this is really the fun part of it, is we get to make wine, we get to welcome you in this world, we're going to tell you all about all those steps that in many of them are mysterious and mystical. So meet my very great friend, Stephanie Putnam, the iconic winemaker of Napa Valley. And yes, she's the lady. She manages one of the leading estates in Napa as a lady. And in fact, you have a whole group of ladies in the winery.
I only hire women because that's what I prefer. But I think that women tend to be more sensitive and have better taste buds, so I think we naturally make better winemakers. Men may disagree, but I think that we have a leg up when it comes to making beautifully balanced wines.
Well, and I certainly don't disagree. My sister and I co-own all the wineries. My parents started. My mother is an amazing wine taster. My sister, my wife, and naturally my grandmother. So I love the idea that in Napa, we've evolved into making very romantic, very seductive, and extremely flamboyant wine, but still wine that we want to taste.
That are balanced, that we want to taste. So, what are we trying first here?
Well, I believe you always want to go Sanolina first.
Okay. So, what we're trying here is part of our district collection, which is all about the small sub-appellations within Napa Valley. And of course, we chose to taste the St. Helena and also Rutherford, because those are two of my favorites. But I think they also show some of the great differences amongst Cabernets within Napa Valley. What do you get when you taste this one?
Well, I know that St. Helena, which is where we are, so Raymond Vineyard official address is St. Helena, but we're very fortunate to be on both appellations. An appellation is a district, a sense of place that really has been defined to tell you more about where we are and how great the wine is. Those are the top two, we believe, St. Helena and Rutherford. And then if you go south, you land in Oakville. But you're the winemaker, Stephanie. You're the expert with those beautiful curls. I want you to tell us, in those fabulous wine glasses made out of crystal. Of course, we're tasting crystal in the crystal cellar.
Of course.
Why this is so sensual.
Well, what I love about St. Helena is I think that it tends to be more feminine, sweeter wine. I think that the soils there just naturally make wines that are more flamboyant, more fruit forward up front. The tannins there are naturally sweeter, so it lends itself to more of a feminine style of wine. It's still a big wine.
There's a lot of power in
There's a lot of
femininity,
power.
and there's a lot of length.
But I think that sweetness to the tannins, which coats the length, gives it more that feminine appearance, shall we say.
So you could see Stephanie's doing that with her glass. So when you taste wine, what we'd love for you to do with us is always look at the beautiful appearance, right? The different colors and tones of red. Then you look at the fabulous legs of the wine. Tell us about that.
Well, certainly the legs are longer than mine. The legs sometimes can be an indication of the body of the wine. And as you can see, if you're swirling it around and you tilt the glass, you are seeing a fair amount of legs or length on the wine. So I think that's a very good indication of the quality of this St. Helena cab.
So 5 senses, the eye, then of course the nose. That's a critical part. For me, 80% of my appreciation of a wine is actually my nose. We often say 80% of a great wine is made in the vineyards, and the vineyards accounts for that success. What do you think about the nose on this one?
I was enjoying the taste, sorry.
She's always ahead of me. That's always the issue.
I don't
She's
often
fast.
get vibe during the day, so I was taking an opportunity. It has a lot of great dark fruit. A lot of red currant, a lot of darker fruit, almost a boysenberry. Think of like a mixed berry pie or compote. A little bit of a licorice character.
And this is so inviting. As you smell this wine, like a beautiful dish, you want to dive in. So what does the palate tell you?
Oh.
And dear friends, you see us moving the wine around our mouth
I'll demonstrate while you talk.
as if you were brushing your teeth. You move the wine all around, so every part of your tongue, the acidity, the richness, the texture, everything is taken into account.
You get a little bit more structure on this wine on the finish. It's got a little bit more tannins, and that's where, even though it comes across as a sweeter, more feminine wine, it still does have the tannins to make it a lovely wine that will age beautifully. But what I get a lot is that darker cocoa powder on the finish. Think of like a dark chocolate, like a 75 or 85% dark cocoa. That's what I really am getting on palate.
So one of the great things of wine, as a winemaker, you think about the food as well this wine could be enjoyed with.
Oh yes, this will go great with dark chocolate.
Ooh la la. So now, I just changed my mind, and I thought we would go to Rutherford, but I just discovered we have this amazing, phenomenal Central, obviously gorgeous label. So Stephanie, I know you can finish your glass. You've done that a few times.
I was looking for
It's not
something
because
a
you're
little
with
bit
all our
more-
friends around the world that you cannot finish. Now, as
You're
you
gonna make me
finish,
do this?
I'm going to have you taste this incredible Raymond Napa Valley Cabernet. This is actually a wine we can easily find around the United States and the world. And this is our fantastic velvet label. We wanted to demonstrate how the wine feels and touch, the sense of touch on the bottle. As you can see, it's velvet as you sense it in your mouth. So Stephanie,
Yes.
the making of this wine, give us a little bit of the technical side, because as we have our JCB world, we'll be able to take our friends through fermentation, aging in barrels, and bottling the wine. So you're going to get to see the whole process at large.
Well, I won't get super technical on you, but what I will say is the question that most people ask me is, which wine are you most proud of? And most people think that I would be most proud of the JCB wines or the Generations Cab that we do. But in all honesty, I am most proud of the Reserve Cab because it's actually one of the harder blends to put together. This is a wine that comes not only from our estate here in Rutherford and St. Helena, but also from select vineyards throughout Napa Valley and even some of the more famous hillsides like Howell Mountain or Spring Mountain. But what I love about this wine is how we actually make it. We treat it like a cult wine. So this wine is all berry sorted, meaning that only perfect grapes go into the fermenter. Then it's actually, we do what's called extended maceration. So I let the wine sit on the skins after alcoholic fermentation is complete. And that way I get more of what I call a complete wine. So I get more of a middle palate and a little bit more length to it. And then we actually bottle it unfiltered because I want to give this to you as how I taste it in the cellar. This is, to me, the perfect go-to wine on a day-to-day basis. And the velvet label tells you what is inside. The wine is velvety. It's not too often that a wine will live up to the package, but I think this one does.
And as you noticed, we'll tell you more another time, we use decanters. This is the decanter that I had the pleasure and the honor to design in honor of the history of France, 18th century style. Look at this beautiful object. And dear friends, you may notice there's this gorgeous crystal. I know many of you are into crystal energy. This is what we do. This is what I do. Since the age of 7 years old, I'm into the connectivity of crystal. They speak to one another. We build intention. This is why we have this amazing piece sitting really here that connects and magnetizes the entire 300-acre estate here at Raymond Vineyards. There's more to come, much more explanation to give you. This is a brief overview, dear friends, of the JCB world. You're going to get to discover, as we meet more often, so much about the world of wine, the world of culture, history, heritage, design, and the world of taste. The cool part about wine, it brings everything together. This liquid is basically bringing unity to the world, integrating diversity, welcoming all of us from different origin, continent, background, skin colors, and religion, all of it in this glass. We've been making wine since the beginning of time, and actually even before. 7,500 years ago, we discovered those beautiful fermented grapes in amphora and other vessels. We'll tell you all about this because wine flows in our blood. On the right side is Cabernet, on the left side is Pinot Noir. So we are here to be, and of course. So dear friends, it was so much fun to be able to be together today on Fireside, telling you about the JCB world. We'll be doing many of those great moments. You'll get to discover more and you'll get to know yourself even better thanks to this. Thank you for joining us today. And this was from the Crystal Cellar at Raymond Vineyards in Napa Valley, California.
Cheers! Thank you for my
love, passion, and more.
And memories.
Let's look each other in the eye.